What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the top 5 things which I dislike about my Mazda MX-5. I recently filmed a video on the car going over the top 5 things which I love about the car, so now it's time to address the top 5 things which I dislike. Now, number 1 on the list is actually a funny one. Well, from factory the car is definitely underpowered. I've got the 1.8 UK spec model which came with 131 brake horsepower from factory, and that's slow. Now don't get me wrong, it's not the slowest, and you know, similar when I bought the car, I think I was 19, and compared to my friend's cars at the time, this was bloody quick. But if you've driven any sort of car, you'll know that 130 horsepower is bloody slow. Probably feels about similar to 200 horsepower in your everyday hatchback, just because of the weight of the car, how low you are to the ground. It does make it feel like it's a lot faster than it actually is, but it's underpowered from factory. Now, we actually did something about this. We tore it all down and did a turbo conversion on the car about 2 years ago actually, summer 2 years ago, and that was really good. We got up to 250 brake horsepower and that felt bloody rapid. Really fun to drive, really fun to send sideways too. And I was, yeah, really happy with that. But if you know me personally, you know I get bored easily, etc. I got bored of 250 horsepower and we wanted to go for something bigger, faster and more powerful. So what we decided to do is we decided to just tear everything apart. Yeah, bloody silly decision. I just made a decision a 1.5 years ago, and still to date the car's not back on the road. But we're getting there. We've got loads of parts on order. We've got most of the parts which I did reveal in a previous video. So we're just waiting on connecting rods now, and all of the engine work can be done. And then it's time for the reassembly and putting the car back together. So if I estimate, it's probably going to be about 4 more months until the car's back on the road. I'm praying. It will definitely be back by the end of the year. Anyhow, I'm getting sidetracked. The car is underpowered from factory, but it's something which is easily rectified if you just have a couple of grand and a bit of time on your hands. And you know what, that's if you're doing it new. You can actually buy second-hand parts. The community is massive for MX-5s, and second-hand parts aren't too expensive. So yeah, you can probably turtle one of these for about £1,000 if you buy a second-hand turbo kit. You know, £1,000 for the car, £1,000 for that, and you have a 250 horsepower car which weighs about a ton. Oh my god, that is absolutely rapid. Well, it's quick, definitely for the age which I am. I'm 22, and yeah, when I got this car, I was about 20, I think, when I was driving it at 250 horsepower, and it felt like an absolute animal. Second dislike about the car has to be rust issues. Now, I've actually got a really clean example, but I still do have small rust issues with the car. And you know what? What comes with rust issues is seized bolts, that sort of thing, and it is not fun, I'll be honest. You know, when you're doing a job which you think's going to take 5 to 10 minutes, and it ends up taking 5 hours, because bolts are seized, things don't come out, bolts snap, bolts round, it can be a pain in the arse, but that comes with the joys of working on cars too. It's all about problem solving, that sort of thing with an old car, and you know what, I love it. Don't get me wrong, I don't love seized bolts, but you know, you've got to try and make a positive out of a negative, right? Based on this point, I would definitely recommend spending a bit more money if you're looking to get yourself an MX-5. It will be so worth it in the long run. You know, you'll spend the extra money which you would have saved initially on just fixing things. You know, just to repair a rear seal, it's an expensive task. You know, it could be £500 upwards to get it done well. So think about that. 2 rear seals is £1,000. You could have bought yourself a nicer car, and that's not to mention a high mileage version may have problems. So you have to obviously, you know, upgrade belts, timing kits, all that sort of thing. And that's expensive. Now don't get me wrong, I'll have to do that one day sooner or later, but it saved me a hell of a lot of money in the short term. I haven't actually had to cough up anything for factory parts on the car. It's just been aftermarket bits which I've put on, the things that I've changed. So yeah, nothing's actually gone wrong with the car to date, which is pretty good for whacking what, circa 20,000 miles on the car and having no issues. That is absolutely perfect and really good for a 25-year-old car. So number 3 on the list has to be the cup holders. Now, from factory you had 2 options. Well, I didn't actually have the option of cup holders, but you just get inside the car. Now, this lighting's not great, but it's really sunny, so it makes it quite dark in the car. But anyway, in the centre console just here, I actually have an ashtray compartment or coin holder or whatever you want to call it. From factory you could get 2 cup holders which go here. Now, it does have cup holders. First problem about them, so I did actually bind the attachment and proceed to then throw it straight in the bin, is the fact that one is awfully positioned. When you've got your arm like changing gears, it is literally right above the cup holder, so you can't fit a cup in it without knocking it over A or B. without shifting comfortably. Like, you can't have to have your arm all skew-if and really uncomfortable. So that's the first thing which is awful about the cup holders on the MX5. Now, second thing is the fact that the cup holder actual holes which the cup sits in is absolutely tiny. Like, a standard size water bottle doesn't even fit in there, which is, yeah, pretty laughable. Now, there is one thing which you can do to resolve this issue. I think probably most MX5 owners know this through trial and testing them, but if you put your seat all the way back, which if you're a tall guy like me you have to, and you do it on the passenger seat anyway, so the passenger seat is always all the way back, then just a tiny bit forward and then leaned as far back as you can, and between the like centre column almost, not a centre console, it's like a centre, I don't know what it's called, the bit that runs through the middle of the car where the gearbox is anyway, between the seat and that you can actually wedge a cup or bottle in there and it doesn't spill. Now, I wouldn't do this with an open can. I'd do it with like a McDonald's cup, disposable cup, that sort of thing, or a water bottle. That works perfectly. Not ideal, but it is a resolution to what is a stupid design flaw by Mazda. Number 4 is the fact that, as with any old Japanese car, the interior is absolutely rattly. Anything over about 50 miles an hour you do hear it, and of course road noise is not ideal, especially being convertible. It's definitely up there with the louder interiors which you can get on a car for sure. Now, you can improve this. You can do things like get Delrin door bushings, which helps with the rattling from the doors. I've done quite a lot of chassis stiffening upgrades, so I've got a roll bar, I've got 2 side bars which run from like the rear firewall all the way to the floor pan, like all along the edge of the door, and that really does help in stiffening the chassis and reducing that noise. I've done a full custom interior, which you probably saw, well, you probably saw somewhat when we were sitting in the car, but it's all quilted, that sort of thing, and when I did that, I did try to make some effort securing everything down a lot more than it normally was, so that's definitely improved it. It's not perfect, it's a lot better. Again, with these things, you know, most dislikes on your car you can resolve, and that's the joy of modifying cars. You can make your car exactly how you want it, resolve any issues which you have. You know, some issues which I have, other people might not find an issue. So everyone's unique, right? And being able to change these things and improve these things is really, really good. And everything that I dislike about the car, I've pretty much fixed. We're getting there anyway. The 5th and final thing which I dislike about my MX5 is a positive and a negative, and I will address that in a sec. It's the fact that the car is so small. I've actually been on a week camping trip, oh no, it was a 5-day camping trip in the MX5 with 2 people and fit everything in the car. So practicality, yes, is bad. It can be done, definitely on a squeeze. Now, I was storing things left, right and centre, strapping things to the roll bar. You know, the passenger, let's just say, had absolutely no space whatsoever, but there we go. You know, it can be done, but in reality, you can't fit anything in the car. Like, if you want to go out and buy a new TV, you can't. You need to get it delivered if this is your only car, or if it's your daily driver. You know, actually, to be fair, on some of the Facebook groups, I have seen people fit ludicrously sized things in an MX5, but definitely wouldn't recommend it. That's with the roof down there. It's not too safe. So it's small. Now, this is also a positive. Now, the reason why, let me tell you why it's a positive, is the fact that it is so nimble, agile, but also it's quite a convenient daily driver. You know, you can fit into most parking spaces, really, really easy to park. It's just a nice all-round fun car, and it's just cool to look at. I think it's quite laughable when you pull up against, you know, a big car or a bus or a van or anything of that type, a truck, and the size of the MX5 when it's pulled up next to it is absolutely hilarious, but I love it. I think it's just a really, really cool car. It's quite different, you know. And you know, the MX5 is actually smaller than a Mini. Believe that or not. Believe it if you want. Don't believe it, you can test it out. If you've got a Mini Cooper and you don't think that's true, I'll give you my address, you can drive around and we will definitely put them up against each other, because I can guarantee you that the MX5 is smaller. But anyway, I wanted to keep this short and sweet. That's the 5 things which I dislike about my MX5. Now, just a side note, I don't hate the car, I absolutely love the car to pieces, but there's definitely some things which can be improved and which I'm working on. So yeah, thanks for watching guys. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Comment down below in the comment section what you dislike about your cars and what videos you want to see on the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.